Sean Strickland's coach, Eric Nixick, is upset with his fighter. Weili is on her track to becoming one of the greatest women's fighters in MMA history. Pereira versus Duplessis, well, kind of been dismissed by Alex, and also KSO versus Dylan Danis. This is Combat Catch Up Live. Sit back, relax. Let's get into it. Yes, lovely people, welcome back to Combat Catch Up here with the two legends, Luke Tanner and Jamie Phillips. Before we go any further, make sure you subscribe to their channels, links in the description, and also smash a like on the video. Guys, after a UFC 312 that Jamie had to keep me awake for, Luke, happy anniversary as well. How are we doing this Tuesday?
Not too bad until I watched the main event this evening.
That was the one where I started falling asleep, if I'm going to be honest. Just about managed to survive.
I nearly fell asleep watching it, to be fair.
And it was a tough one for me. Jay did what you and Jay usually do, and that's keep me awake. And yeah, I didn't get caught with my mouth open and head tilted back. Pause.
Whoa. No, not letting you get away with this. Because when I was taking the dog out for a walk, I had the stream on.
Oh, you did see
I
it.
distinctly remember hearing your wife's voice going,
"Oh yeah,
Amy, you need to speak to him more."
Yeah, she
so you and your missus had to get Jamie, because Jamie was lagging as well. Jamie was like,
bro, that main event was a tough watch. The main card was pretty tough, to be honest. But look, let's start with the main event. And one of the fighters that is Sean Strickland. His coach Eric Nixick has some choice words to say about the fighter in the wake of his last fight. Now, I'll read out his quotes, and his quotes are as followed. Once I get them, bear with me a moment. He was not happy or complimentary about his fighter. He went on to say, "I think he needs to evaluate what he wants to do in the sport. If it's just to make money, that's great. Then let us know. I want to coach world champions." Now, Eric Nixick has been his trainer for a while now, and he's a brilliant trainer. Obviously trained Francis Ngannou amongst other fighters as well. However, is this the first time where he's showing signs of just being fed up of Sean Strickland and thinking, I'm done with this circus and I just want to coach fighters who actually want to make it to the top rather than fighters who just want to talk their way to the top? What do you reckon, boys?
Wish he had the same energy during, in between rounds. Because I think he's just fed up that his message is not getting through to him. I think he's just fed up for this message not getting through to him. Like, Sean Strickland showed more fight in sparring streamers than he has done in the octagon in his recent performances. His last finish was an unranked fighter that didn't deserve the opportunity that he was presented himself.
He did dominate Izzy, though, to be fair.
Yeah, he did dominate Izzy, which is fair enough. But we say, as Apollo said, Izzy's washed, as he's noted. But
that hurts, by the way. That one hurt.
I know. The dog's got a mind of his own. The cat was on the stream earlier, so he thought he'd drop his 2-piece in. But I just think he's just fed up with the circus act. I've said it before. Strickland must be the fakest hard man in the UFC. He is just a more likable version of Colby Covington. His fight style is boring. It's predictable. For someone that has a wrestling background, you'd never know that when you watch him fight. You'd never know that you had any wrestling credentials whatsoever. And yeah, if I'm Eric Nixick flying out to Australia and then to watch that performance and the message not sinking in, yeah, I would be pissed too. Because Sean Strickland ain't getting another shot again. He ain't getting another shot again. No way. No way.
Jay, we had the pleasure of sitting through that main event. What's your thoughts on Coach's comments?
Coach is a prick.
Rah, Jay.
Just is, man. Coach is a prick. If I'm Strickland, I'd attack him.
Based on what? Hold on, Jay. Where's this come from?
Hold on.
You can't. The thing is, yeah, like if you look at Strickland's resume, it ain't actually that bad.
No, it's a good resume.
This is the mad thing. Yes, he's lost to DDP. He had obviously beat some really good fighters on the way there. He obviously beat Izzy, he beat Magomedov. He beat Imavov, who just KO'd Izzy as well.
Yeah, but that obviously lost fight was at light heavyweight, by the way.
Yeah,
still did him though.
Still did him. That means he went up a weight. That proves it. He obviously lost to Pereira and Cannonier before that as well. But he's beaten some good fighters. He's got a good resume. He's beaten Allen. He's beaten Allen as well. Hall, Jotko. He's beaten good fighters, man. Yeah, the thing with Strickland, he's got a boring style of fighting, which don't help him. And he obviously his game is better in his ability in the octagon. So his mouth is better in his ability in the octagon. But I don't know what the game plan was from the coach. The coach comes out of all this stuff. What was the game plan? What was the game plan? What did he do wrong that was against the game plan?
I don't think he listened to the game plan.
Yeah, but he ain't came out. If he didn't listen to the game plan, why aren't he going at him in the corner in the 5 rounds?
He probably did towards the end, like Strickland, like, come on, man, like, I want to win this.
Didn't he? Just
title or not?
He just let Pereira do Charmer. That was it.
Charmer. Yeah, but like even that, like made no sense. Like the Strickland style, it's a very what's the word? It's a very predictable. Like we like to slag off DDP.
Defensive. It's defensive. It's defensive.
It'll be a bit like rhythmless. Like there's no like Prohaska slagged off the DDP performance.
I thought DDP was really good, to be fair.
But for like not having a rhythm. But that's good that you don't have a rhythm because it makes him unpredictable. Strickland's very predictable in this style. It's a 1-2 jab with a teep kick at the end, which is very effective. And Vincent Clay, Strickland doesn't have the dog in him. He talks a big game.
I don't believe that. He has a dog in him.
He has
a dog in him. Because if we're going to do all this this is my problem with MMA, yeah? Because we don't like certain fighters, right? If we're going to do he don't have all his dog in him stuff, neither does GSP. He's a decision maker. Well, hang on. Let me get this right here. He's a decision maker at welterweight. He is the decision maker. He doesn't go for knockouts. He goes. But
we have seen him go for fighters, though.
Yeah, but so have we seen Strickland as well. But when you go up the levels, it gets harder to knock people out. So you try and dominate fights. So you dominate rounds. It's much harder to knock people out and tap people out than when you go up levels, right, in the game. When you start going up levels, you just got to be an all-round fighter and get and win fights. So this is my problem with it all. Like, the only thing his corner was saying was pick up the pace, yeah? They weren't giving him technical things and going, you're not getting into the game plan. It was just pick up the pace. They wanted him to do what he was doing, but they wanted to be more on the front foot. Strickland's got a way of fighting. You can't tell Strickland, right, you're going to turn into Anderson Silva now. Forget everything you've trained. We're going to turn you into an Anderson Silva fighter. He fights the way he's bred to fight.
Yeah, no, but there was no variety in the performance. Like there's no mixing it up with the wrestling. Like This is
No,
mixed.
AT, you're maybe
martial-
done, my friend. You're maybe done because picking up the pace isn't a game plan.
What? Yeah, was that to me? Or was that
Yeah,
to
AT, you need to chill out, bro. We don't
Picking
do
up
that.
the pace is not a game plan, man.
Yeah, like there was
It's
no
not a game plan.
variation. Like there's no like mix it in with the wrestling. This is mixed martial arts, not the jab and the teep kick. Championship. This is mixed martial arts. He wasn't mixing anything else in. Whether or not they decided that they weren't, going to wrestle Drickus because they thought Drickus was the better wrestler. But with the striking, I sort of slightly agree with AT. The coach telling him to pick up the pace, but I highly doubt the game plan was you should just rinse and repeat what you did last fight a little bit quicker and you might win. Because I thought defensively, like Strickland got caught with a lot. Like he got caught with a lot of.
So all AT is telling me is not things that's the game plan. What was the game plan, AT? What was the particular game plan for Sean Strickland? Because all you're telling me is things that a corner will tell their fighter that they've seen in the fight to change your ways, what you're doing. What was the actual game plan? Like in a game of football, you've got a game plan, yeah?
Yeah.
But then if it's not going away, you change it about a bit. It's still not the game plan. So what's the game plan? It's just,
I do sort of agree with football. So maybe the staph infection did pay
he
more.
just got beaten because DDP's a better fighter.
Yeah, I was going to say with
No harm in
regards to
it.
the game plan
And
stuff,
he's elite as well.
I think the game plan is always the same with Strickland because I don't necessarily think he's that coachable.
No, exactly.
I think the game plan just varies in terms of how much pace he outputs in a fight or not. I think when he's in his flow and he's able to nullify the fighter he's fighting, then I think he's fine. But he's not adaptable. We've seen that.
Difference. There's no difference, Cal, between his fight. The only difference between his fight with DDP and Izzy that he was picking up the pace a lot more, and he was more front-footed. It's the same game plan, though. No, there weren't no game plan difference.
Yeah, it's a weird one.
Luke,
Luke,
I think with the Izzy fight, I do think Strickland sort of found his rhythm and knew when
He's a rhythm fighter.
To throw his strikes. I think he knew how to offset Izzy's rhythm to catch him with the shots because Drickus is so unpredictable, doesn't fight with a rhythm. It's very difficult to hit him. Like we jokingly said that he's the best shit fighter in the world because he looks shit. He looks clunky. He looks crap. But DDP's elite. And DDP's
the game plan was to let the backhand go and catch the kicks. That's not a game plan. So I run out of fucking patience.
Football gospel, yeah. He spars. He doesn't train. He just spars all the time.
Yeah, it doesn't help his cause either. Obviously, his coach also said that he had staph infection. Now, Jamie, and you spoke about this on stream.
Yeah.
Do you think that was a big factor in this fight? Because we know how.
No, DDP's just a better fighter.
Do you think anything would have changed had he not had staph infection? Or do you think the right was on the wall?
No, again, his fighting style is exactly the same in every fight he fights.
It's apple juice, Chris. It's apple juice.
He didn't go into this fight.
My love.
So if he was say he was a wrestler, that goes for takedowns. Like, well, he's a wrestler, but don't use it. Say he's a wrestler that goes for takedowns. Like, he always looks for the shoot. He always looks for the single leg or the double leg shoot as much as he possibly can. And he's a stamina machine. That's what he does. And if he weren't doing that in this fight, I would say it's because he didn't have the energy to do it because of that staph infection. But he fought the fight like he always fights. He stands extremely straight up. He puts his hands in this position.
He tries to do this,
and he jabs, and he does, and he goes for the low. He goes to the basically. He tries to kick towards the stomach and the knee. That's where he aims for, knee to stomach, and he stands straight and he does this, and he goes straight at opponents. He cuts angles off. So he basically he walks at angles all the time. He just walks at angles all the time, and he did the same game plan in every single fight. Now, there might be little things like AT was saying in the fight, like, his coach is telling him to, catch the kick or something like that. And, checking with the right and things like that. And he probably won't listen to his coach in that particular thing. But the game plan in Strickland fights is the same game plan it always is. Hamzat's game plan is exactly the same as it always is. Khabib's game plan was exactly the same as it always is. You can adapt in the ring at the time, but that's why I don't think the staph infection was any of an issue. He fought a fight like he fights in every single Strickland fight, but DDP's just got the better of him. DDP's stronger, bigger, and faster. So, yeah.
Luke, do you think there's been a slight overreaction to Sean's performance based on how much talking he does? We've seen this happen before with people like Colby Covington. If Sean Strickland was more of a quiet, mellow person and he gave that performance, would he have had the sort of feedback he's had? Or do you think it's because of the amount of talking he's done?
I think there'd still be criticism. I think there'd be criticism with the fact that people could say that he's thrown away his last opportunity for the title, which is true. Because based on this performance, he's not going to get a title shot for a while.
I don't think it's just based on his performance. I think his personality is why the UFC would try their absolute best to keep him away from a title shot as well.
Yeah,
they don't want him to be.
Yeah, I do think when you talk your shit, when you trash talk, you have to back it up. You have to back it up, because when you trash talk and it doesn't work well, that shine, that aura slowly gets chipped away before people go, oh, that guy just talks shit. But we know when he gets in the octagon, yeah, this guy ain't backing it up. And Strickland's on a slippery slope, because he needs to. Strickland's not going to change, but he needs to change something in his game, because if he carries on the way he is, he'll just slip back down the rankings again, and he'll be that gatekeeper. Like, he needs to change something if he wants to, stay, top 5 contend, being in those number 1 contender bouts. Like, he needs to change something. But I think with regards to the criticism, look, if you talk the shit and you don't get the job done, then you're always going to get criticized. And I think he deserves to get criticized, because you can't talk the way that you've been talking in the pre-match build-up. He's just a more likable Colby Covington. He fights the same, he talks shit, and people will be fed up with him sooner or later. The second he says something super controversial that the majority of people don't like, his popularity goes down.
I don't know if it does nowadays. Like, the world's a bit weird at the moment.
The only thing like Sean can say is that he went 10 rounds with DDP. DDP never finished him, and their first fight was very close. He's probably got that in the bank. He went 10 rounds. I don't think Sean's
that far away from a title shot, though.
No, he went 10 rounds with DDP, and in the first fight it was very close, and DDP didn't finish him in either fight. So he has got that against it. But again, look, DDP's fighting, the way he fights is not pleasing or exciting. It just isn't. And he tried to drag DDP into that kind of thing, but DDP weren't having it. So he never really backed off. And because he didn't back off, he was able to start putting shots onto Strickland, which is why he broke his nose. So, which is horrible, because you saw his nose explode as he hit.
Yeah, and he was trying to put it back into place as well.
Yeah, well, has anyone watched the video backstage?
Yeah, I've seen it, because he's saying he was putting it in place. He was trying to.
Yeah, and he was going like that, and DDP was telling him, "You're doing it wrong. I saw you doing it. You're doing it wrong." And then they're having a chat, and Sean Strickland says, "You're the man. You're the man. There's no doubt about it. You're a tough motherfucker," and all this sort of stuff. And you beat me fair and square. So I know that video footage hasn't been spoke about enough.
Yeah.
Of like Sean really giving him his graces. So yeah, Sean's got to speak how Sean wants to speak. It is what it is, but his fight style's just boring. And he can't change. He's an older guy now. He can't change the way he fights. He's not.
I don't think he wants to either.
No, he's not going to go for takedowns and stuff like that, and just You know, it's just not him. It's not his way of doing it. And his way of doing it, he was to say, has been successful. He became champion. He had a good career. He fought very good fighters and won with his style. So who are we to tell him otherwise, to be honest?
Fair dues, fair dues. People, if you haven't already, smash that like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Right, one person that does back up their talk when they get into the cage, and that is Weili Zhang. Another successful title defense going up against someone that many believed would beat her in this fight, in Tatiana Suarez, and she remains the strawweight champion of the world. I want to ask you both, guys, where does Weili, in your opinion, sit when it comes to women's MMA fighters in the GOAT list?
In the GOAT list?
Oh, if she beats Valentina, she will be the GOAT.
Ooh.
She's beaten tougher fighters. Amanda Nunes fights at the heaviest the weight of women. But I don't think Amanda Nunes has gone through more complete MMA fighters than Weili.
Okay. Okay. Luke, what are you saying?
I need Jeremy to retract that statement because my GOAT, beat your favourite fighter twice. Yeah.
So
the second one, the second one, Valentina won.
Talk bullshit.
The second, Valentina won the second fight, in my opinion, though.
Yeah, disagree. Yeah, maybe. What better than just that's trigger? That's trigger free. I don't want to get triggered. Don't want to get triggered.
It's not a trigger thing, is it?
It should be what the greatest female fighter in the UFC if she beats.
Yeah, only because Amanda had knockout power. In my opinion, Weili's fought better MMA fighters.
I disagree. But I guess we'll find out because I'll guess we'll find out. That super fight's next.
That's what I say. She beats Valentina. She's done it.
Next. I don't think she beats Valentina. I think Valentina will win because it'll be very interesting to see how Weili looks at 125. But when it comes to strawweight GOATs, she's definitely for me. The thing is, I would say she's number 2 behind Joanna.
She's equal Joanna's title fight wins.
Thing is that she's beat Joanna twice. It's the losses to Rose. That's the thing. It's the losses to Rose.
Stay with that for one sec. Here's a crazy thing though. Rose has beaten Weili twice, and Rose has beaten Joanna twice.
Yeah, Rose
and none of those wins are contentious. She won all those fights unanimously.
Rose is top draw.
But we still have Joanna and Weili ahead of her in the strawweight list.
I think if she gets one more successful title defense, then I guess then we'll have that, conversation. Oh, looks like Jamie's been summoned. Yeah, but I just think
I usually have with my kids.
You're right there, Jamie.
Yeah.
One of the little ones doing a Stevie and a Robbie, yeah.
Fucking me off.
I know that feeling.
I don't know that feeling.
The strawweight GOAT list for me is a tricky one because I think it is between the three of them. I think it is between Rose, Joanna, and Weili. But if Weili can go up and win against Valentina, she separates herself from the other two.
Because Joanna had a shot against Valentina and lost.
Yeah, convincingly as well. Rose has actually got up and actually fought at the weight on a regular basis, and she's had mixed success.
She's struggled.
I wouldn't say she struggled. She's been beaten by 2 of the best in the division.
Yeah, I think she's struggled personally at the weight. I don't think the weight suits.
I would love to see Rose come back down to 115. I'd love to see another fight between her and Weili.
I would say run the trilogy, run it, because that second fight. Hey, people are clamoring for Valentina to have another shot at Nunes. Yeah, then
I don't know if anyone is now.
Well, back before Nunes retired, everyone was still saying, "Hey, we want to see the third fight between the two of them, people back then were clamoring for a third fight between those two, then hey, people would want to see a third between Rose and Weili. Because that second fight, even though Rose won by decision, I remember us doing the watch along, and we went, unanimous decision.
I had it 3-2 to Rose. I don't think it was a robbery, but it was a close fight. Whereas I think Valentina versus Amanda in their second fight, I do think it was a bit of a robbery.
Agree to disagree.
Because she's your goat, though. I mean, when it comes to resumes, all right, we'll bring up Amanda's resume because I do think Jamie actually has a point.
I can't believe Nunes is getting smoke.
No, she's not getting smoke. But the reason I do think Jamie has some credence to what he's saying is because I think everyone looks at Amanda Nunes' record and just thinks, oh, she's got to be the GOAT because of the name she's beating rather than the caliber. So looking at her record, so Amanda, let's go through. So Durandamy, she lost to Kat Zingano, beat Sarah McMahon, 2 wins over Valentina, Misha Tate, Rousey, Pennington, Cyborg, Home, Felicia Spencer, Anderson, Pena, but also lost to Pena, and then Irina Aldana.
Bums.
There are some good names there.
There's good names in there, but a lot of bums.
But there are also some names where it's like they're not the greatest of fighters either.
But that's not her fault. That's why I said this about Weili. Weili fighting probably a better structure of MMA fighters, but that's not Amanda's fault if there's no one good in that.
Yeah, because back when Nunes was fighting some of the other fighters, you know, we'd say that women's MMA back when she was beating Tate, Home, Rousey, is a different level to what some of the women fighters are fighting now. Compared, so I may have to, you know, slightly.
It's between them two and only them two. I'm not even going to talk about anyone else. They're the two women in MMA, in my opinion. They're just Weili's. I can't lie. Watching her fight in that co-main, that woman's incredible, man. Tatiana Suarez, I know she's gone through a lot, but she smashed her.
American wrestling. I don't want to hear
DC. Big up to the guys that never have foul for sending people over. Much appreciated, guys.
Yeah, big up.
Smash the like button if you're new, please, guys.
I have to say, I don't want to hear DC Chael, any, you know, former American wrestler talk about how great American wrestling is. Yeah.
The thing is, American wrestling is good, but there's American wrestling and then there's American wrestling within the confines of MMA. And just like jiu-jitsu, Damian Maia's jiu-jitsu obviously was brilliant, but there's a reason why Damian Maia couldn't win every fight or couldn't submit everyone, because it's a fight. It's not just jiu-jitsu. It's not just based on one style. There's a reason why James Toney came into the octagon, got taken down by Randy Couture and choked out. It's MMA. So I do think they've got a point, but I think, they maybe leaned a bit too hard on, because you've got to be able to mix the different
arts. Have you watched the co-main event, by the way?
Have we rewatched the co-main event?
Yeah.
No,
rewatched the co-main event.
I know about you, Jay, but I don't know if I'm watching that card again.
So I watched the co-main event this evening, right? And I watched it with the commentary, because usually when we do the watch-alongs, I either don't have commentary on, or I have commentary so quiet that you can't really hear it. And the first round of the fight, because for me, Weili won 4 rounds to 1. I thought Suarez won the first round. Weili dominated the rest.
It was an easy fight to judge.
The way that they were talking about, you know, the wrestling and this and that, like Suarez is just going to dominate the rest of the fight with a real American wrestling. But that wasn't the case. Like Weili, we wouldn't say he's a wrestler. Like we wouldn't say that when she gets announced, like, oh, she's a wrestler. She's the full-blown mixed martial artist. And for me, you know, I know Tatiana Suarez has had I think she had cancer, if
She had cancer,
that's
yeah, she
correct.
had a
So
bunch of
she's
injuries as
missed the
well.
last chunk of her of her prime, and I really feel for her because I feel like that she was part of that generation that was with the Carla Espasas when they broke through
Yeah.
and stuff. Her, Rose, if she didn't have that unfortunate having the cancer, then for me she would have been champion. But
Yeah.
for me, it was two different eras going against each other, and Weili showed the levels. Like if Weili really wanted to turn it up a notch, she would have got her out of there because Weili landed some beautiful right hand and stunned her real good.
I mean, you say that though, Luke, because I hear what you're saying, but I think Tatiana beats everyone else in that division still, though. I just think Wei Li's she's just that person. Like, you had Valentina at 125 who no one could touch. You had Amanda at 135 that no one could touch. And now you've got Wei Li at 115 who I don't think anyone can touch. I just think she's just a level above everyone else. And that doesn't make the rest of them rubbish. I just think she's just a level above, bro. She's just that damn good. I doubted her before the fight. I thought Tatiana was going to win. And then when I watched the fight, I was like, I'll never doubt her again. I say that.
Hey,
If she does like Valentina, I've got Valentina to win it. But
yeah, I am never trusting American wrestling again. Never trusting it. Never trusting.
If I'm not mistaken, at the moment, there's only one fighter who's.
When they say that, this guy's a former NCAA wrestling national champion, they're not going to trust it. Not going to trust it. I need to see.
There's only one champion who's American at the moment in the UFC. I know Bilal Muhammad was born in America, but he identifies as Palestinian. I think John Jones is the only fighter, the only American fighter who's a champion at the moment in the whole of the UFC, which is kind of crazy.
And John Jones is someone that doesn't rely on that wrestling because the second Tatiana got stunned in that fight, as I like to call it, the desperation takedown attempt. It's like instinct. If things aren't going well on the feet, we instantly try and shoot. And like she had positions. I felt like that when she tried to take down, she had the hands locked in, and she thought, you know what, it's just gonna be easy work. I'm just gonna drag her off the cage because I've got the hands gripped. I'm just gonna take her down. And the energy that she was exerting, Weili stuffed like 14 takedowns in a row.
Yeah.
After the first round, Weili was like, "Yeah, no, not getting taken down." And then Weili takes her down.
Yeah, and dominates from top position as well.
And dominates top position. But yeah,
she's a special fighter. Do you guys think that fight happens next? Do you think it is Weili versus Valentina next, or do you think?
Yeah. Dana even said it.
Yeah, absolutely. She's got nothing else at 115.
And Valentina hasn't got anything else. Well, Valentina's got Maino Figueroa. They both got one fight each at one in their divisions, but not
none of them make sense. Right now.
Yeah, 115.
Vera Shandarova and Maino Figueroa 125. That's what I'm saying. That they're both credible.
None of them make sense.
But they don't make more sense than the super fight.
International Fight Week. Put that fight on, man.
Yeah, I just think for her, I think when I use it, I criticize and I'm like, what's his champion done to deserve to go up to fight for the other belt? Yeah, Weili is not in that category.
Yeah, these are two of the best, exactly.
I'd
have that fight as the co-main event under John Jones and Tommy Aspinall on the International Fight Week.
Ooh, okay.
If they should as well. Monster card.
We'll come back to that. I'm going to throw a spanner in the works here, and I could be completely crazy thinking outside the box. Is there a chance that Valentina could go down to 115 and challenge Weili?
Too big, I think.
She's not a big one. She's not a big 125 though, Jay.
No, but I think she'd be too big for 115, maybe. I think she'd have to dehydrate quite a lot for that.
I think she could. Hey, if Jessica Andrade can cut from 135 to 125 to 115, then I reckon if Valentina really wanted to, she could do it.
Has she ever fought 115?
The reason I asked that though, Jay, if she goes down to 115 and she beats Weili, she's double champion, right? What's one thing Amanda Nunes never did? capture titles in 3 weight divisions.
Triple champ.
Yeah, for fair, Amanda, I don't think she could go that low, wouldn't she?
That's what I'm saying. But Valentina potentially could. So if she went down to 115 and then went up to 135 and beat Pena, that could just solidify her GOAT status.
I'd be shocked if she did it in this state of her career now.
She's
she was younger.
If she was younger, 5 years ago, I think she could have done it. But if Weili's happy to go up, do the fight, man.
Yeah, I hear it. You spoke about International Fight Week, and that card. I think that's been announced for the 28th of June. Now, you both said, well, Jay, you just put out into the atmosphere saying John Jones versus Aspinall as the main headliner. Are you still confident that fight still happens, guys? Because it's gone radio silent on that front.
Which means I think it's happening.
I was about to say the fact that it's gone radio silent makes me more confident.
Because Aspinall ain't said anything.
That is going to happen.
If Aspinall, because Aspinall's gone quiet about it, it's the only fight he's going to take. He ain't taking no other fight.
Yeah.
Then
and plus, I would have felt like we would have had an angry Dana press conference by now.
And also,
about this whole situation.
If John Jones don't fight in 2025, he'd be stripped to his title. Daddy's already said that. So.
Yeah.
Fair.
I think
if Jones was yapping online about it, that's when I'd be like, boys, it ain't happening. But the fact that he's gone radio silent pretty much, and Aspinall's gone radio silent on it pretty much, makes it think that the UFC's going to give Jones fuck you money and we're going to get to see the fight.
Yeah. My only worry about it, like, if they're going to pay him that much money, it could be a terrible card. That'd be my only worry about it. That'd be my only worry. I mean, and then they'll blame Aspinall for not putting in the ratings.
Oh,
because if they're going to give John Jones that FU money to take this fight, they're not going to pile up the card, are they? They're not going to pile up the card. That's why McGregor card's always dead.
Yeah. Yeah. Got a point. Your time will tell on that one. Speaking of someone who does sell very well and does bring in the eyes to the product, and that is Alex Pereira, who has been speaking about the potential to fight Dricus du Plessis, and he said he's just too small. He said he'll take the fight at 205. Obviously, he believes he's just too small, though. Do you think du Plessis has any chance if they were to fight?
Nope.
Yes.
Okay,
Jay, tell us why no, and then Luke, tell us why yes.
He hasn't got the power to even hurt Pereira. DDP wouldn't beat any of the 205ers that Pereira's just beat. He'd struggle. He ain't got the physicality or the strength to. He's a perfect 185er for me. Is DDP? It's a perfect 185er. 205 is massive, man. We're talking about.
I disagree.
Pereira can fight a heavyweight. You would. Pereira can fight a heavyweight. So, DDP can't fight a heavyweight, and Pereira can. So,
du Plessis walks around as a heavyweight.
Yeah,
loads of fighters do that.
That's not a thing, Luke.
Yeah, but saying that he's too small for 205, I think he's big enough for 205. And the fact is that we say, Prochazka slagged off his performance by saying that he's got no rhythm. That's probably what he'd need to be to even stand a chance against Pereira, is to not be predictable, have that rhythm that can easily be latched onto. I think it's a chance. It's a small chance. I'm not saying that DDP's going to go there, big favorite. Like, of course, he's got a chance, but both him and Pereira need to win their next fights before we even talk about this happening. And the fact is that when he was calling out Pereira, the camera didn't even pan to him. Shows me that the UFC are not interested in this fight yet. They're interested in one fight only for Dricus du Plessis, and that's him versus Hamzat Chimaev.
Well, DDP even came out himself and said that he's fighting Hamzat next.
Who he
Yeah.
beats?
All right. That was going to be my next question. I'll be honest with you. The more I watch DDP fight, the more I think he does beat Hamzat.
Yeah.
I think he survives rounds 1 and 2 against Hamzat, and I think he just outworks him for the last 3 rounds.
Mm.
So Hamzat has got that bedroom cardio. Can only last 1-2 rounds. That's it.
Yeah.
Can't last the distance.
Those first 2 rounds, though, are crazy good from Hamzat, though.
I don't know. I think Hamzat's probably... His cardio's probably improved a little bit with his fitness now and his new training regime. So I'd like to see what he can do in championship rounds now. But yeah, Hamzat DDP is a very interesting fight. I think it's a 50-50 fight. I think we've got to start giving DDP the respect he deserves.
Facts.
And he is a good fighter, man. He's an exceptional fighter. He can take damage as well. So, yeah, I think it's a very 50-50 fight right now. Just for the fact that DDP's used to being in this weight class, you know, and fighting these guys where Hamzat's not. You know, the only way Hamzat wins, and people won't like this, is just maul him and wrestle him and just leave him on the ground for 25 minutes and bore everyone to tears.
Maybe upset just thinking about that, because
that's the only way it'll happen, and that's probably the way it will happen.
I don't know, man. I reckon I think he does well in the first 2 rounds, and I think if DDP survives the first 2 rounds, I think the fight looks very different from rounds 3 onwards. Simply because DDP naturally, I think, is probably the bigger man. Probably does hit harder than Hamzat. He's used to being at the weight. But it's a big if he gets out of those first 2 rounds.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. Hamzat puts some pressure on in 2 rounds. If you can get past them 2 rounds, you got a big chance of doing something.
Yeah.
And DDP's got a granite chin, man. He's also not the easiest man to take down in a way.
Yeah, because you can't time him.
No, and he's a big guy. So even if Hamzat does take him down, it's going to take a lot of power and energy to keep taking him down constantly, because he is a big guy at a natural weight that you should be fighting in. So it is a very intriguing fight when you put 2 and 2 together. It's obviously the fight that's going to happen. You know, that's the next in line. So rankings don't matter, like I've said for years now.
Yeah, because Imam, I can't even pronounce his name properly. The French guy, just not. Yeah, he's ranked as the number 1 contender. Yeah. And like for me, you want a hot take? He should be next, because his body of work at middleweight, his last few fights.
The reason why I say no to that, Luke, is because Hamzat won his fight first. If Hamzat hadn't already beaten Whitaker, the problem is Strickland shouldn't have got a rematch. That's what the issue is. The fight at the weekend should have been Hamzat and du Plessis, and then Imavov should have been next in line. But it caused a logjam because Strickland fight.
Because how crazy it is, right? That you knock out Israel Adesanya and you don't get a title shot off the back of knocking out arguably the second best middleweight of all time.
He'll get the next title shot, though. He'll definitely get the next title shot.
Not really, because
after Hamzat. Sorry, after Hamzat.
No,
he will.
No, because if du Plessis wins, then he's getting his Pereira fight at 205.
They'll do an interim.
He's going to be, Imavov is going to have to take a risk by fighting, a Whitaker, a Strickland.
I don't think Pereira will be at 205 by the time that happens.
That's a point as well.
I think if Pereira beats Ankalaev, I think Pereira goes up to heavyweight.
That's a shout. I want to just speak about that one really quickly. We've seen Alex Pereira in the corner of Strickland. We've seen him at event after event. Is there a danger that he's not fully focused on this Ankalaev fight, guys?
I've seen him like this at every fight thing, and he just turns up and wins.
Yeah,
I mean, he's always in crowds. He's always in Australia with the people. He's always messing around, charming people, and then at fight week, he shaves his head and just beats people. It just seems to happen. Literally, just what he does. I mean, I honestly think he's zoned in for this fight, because I don't think he likes Ankalaev at all.
Yeah. You're talking shit about me. I'm going to fuck you up.
The same with Hill. He didn't like Hill at all. And, you know, he took a bollock shot and just sat away.
Yeah.
You know?
And then bam. You're done.
Yeah, I wouldn't like to be, if you don't like, did you see when Izzy was sitting next to Pereira?
Yeah.
And Izzy was talking about, Izzy got his foot out and Pereira was like having a look at it. What was wrong with it and all that. And then he's saying, like, my toe. And Pereira. Now, apparently, Izzy said when Pereira's toe curls. When
he says it feels like a hook, hammer hook.
Like it curls. And, it's like, and he was asking him, how do you make it curl? And he's like, chum.
This is what I mean. Aliens can't say their secrets. You know what I mean? Like, you could explain it.
And Clive will knock Alex out. Remember this. Did you watch the last Clive fight, Vince?
Yeah.
I don't know if Clive's got the power to knock Alex out, but he can grapple him.
Clive is strong. He knocked. I mean, Alex has got a good chin. I know people turn around and say Izzy knocked him out, but Izzy who's caught.
Izzy was one of the greatest of all time. Yeah, it's like
Ankalaev. If Ankalaev stands in front of Pereira, he just doesn't beat him. He has to mix in grappling and clinching and everything. He has to.
Why does everyone want Ankalaev to win? Do you want the UFC to be boring and dismal?
But why do fighters persist on going in there with Alex Pereira and just standing and just having a stand-up fight? Unless you're Izzy, who's come from the exact same kickboxing background, I get it. But everyone else, leave it alone, man.
And by the way, Pereira's takedown defense ain't that bad now either.
It's improving. So,
you know, I think what Ankalaev is going to do is make it ugly. He's got to make it ugly. If he wants to stand in range of Pereira, it's over. He has to make it ugly. You don't stand in range of Pereira flat-footed. And Ankalaev, my problem with Ankalaev is that he's very flat-footed.
Yeah.
And if he stands flat-footed in front of Pereira,
he's done.
Pereira just done.
Yeah.
You know, he don't even throw it. You know, he just touches you. Look, I don't know if Ankalaev beats Thingy in Pereira's last fight.
Yuri.
No, who did Khalil Roundtree. Does Ankalaev beat Roundtree? I've not seen Roundtree's a killer.
Yeah.
He got destroyed. I've never it's the ref. Mark Goddard said he's never heard punches like it in his life.
Yeah. He said it was He said it shook into his soul.
Ankalaev has got to make it ugly and he's got to grapple.
Yeah.
Roundtree's a better stand-up fighter than Ankalaev, and he gave it a go for the first 2 rounds. He made some, you know, he got some shots in and all that. Might have hurt him a little bit, but once Pereira realised what Roundtree was doing weren't having any effect, he just went into machine mode in round 3 and just put a clinic on. Yeah. And I don't think Ankalaev is as good as Roundtree on his feet, so he's going to have to make it extremely. He's going to have to be busy constantly for 5 rounds. He's going to have to make it ugly. He's going to have to grapple. He's going to have to push Pereira to the cage, put Pereira's back to the cage, see what he's about. That's what Ankalaev's got to do. If he doesn't do that, he's going to get killed. If
the crowd's booing, then Ankalaev is winning.
Yeah, exactly.
If the crowd's cheering, Ankalaev is having a bad day.
Yeah, his face was reconstructed. It was mad.
Yeah. One last question, Luke. Is the bigger fight Alex Pereira versus Duplessis or Alex Pereira versus Hamzat Chimaev at 205?
Excuse me. What type of insult is this? Duplessis versus Pereira, man.
You think that's the bigger fight?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You both do?
Yeah.
I don't think
I think Hamzat would be too small for 205. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, and he's boring as shit. The thing with DDP, Hamzat's exciting on Twitter. You put a microphone in front of him, he puts you asleep. It's like ASMR. But
I actually think Hamzat for a wrestler is one of the most exciting.
Nah, he's boring as shit, man. I'm sick of all these Dagestanian fucking MMA fighters. They bore the shit out of me. They've ruined the sport.
Not
Yeah, go on, say it.
Hamzat's
I'm
not
going to
like-
say it right now. They've ruined the sport.
No, Jay.
Yeah, they've ruined the sport, man.
I
The only
think
one who
Hamzat
hasn't.
versus-
The only one who hasn't is Figgy, who's obviously amazing, but because he varies his game up. Yeah, he varies his game up. The rest of them just bored the shit out of me. It all started with Khabib, most boring fighter of all time.
Khabib weren't boring.
He was dead boring. He was dead boring. That's not getting a scrap. Let's just go to ground and lay on you for 20 minutes.
Khabib was smashing people on the ground.
It was boring, man. It was boring. So why do you think UFC's dead right now? Why do you think no one cares? Because it's boring. It's boring.
I think they could market it better. I think Dana just got a bit lazy with it. But we'll see. We'll see. Before we round off, one last topic. Not going to spend long on this because there's not much to talk about. KSI is fighting Dylan Danis, and according to KSI, 4 UFC or ex-UFC fighters turned him down. He said Nate Diaz turned him down, Donald Cerrone, Tony Ferguson, and Masvidal because Masvidal is still contracted to UFC. Do you think we're now seeing a shift from these ex-UFC fighters who are just going, there is no point me doing this misfit stuff?
And I've always started, Frank, I've been watching UFC since 1993. I've watched every form of MMA, man. So, yeah, I know what MMA is about, my friend. If you want to see boring decisions, go ahead. Go for it, my friend. Go for it. Carry on, Cal.
Do you think we're now in a position whereby ex-MMA fighters are just not intrigued by the art, like by doing this crossover boxing anymore? And is it just it's not it anymore? Do you think it's dying a slow death now?
Yeah, it is dying a slow death. For me, to be honest, I'm calling bullshit on KSI. Getting turned down by these fighters. I swear, isn't Donald Cerrone wanting to get back with the UFC? Tony Ferguson started with GFL.
Yeah.
Apparently, rumored Nate Diaz is set to go back to the UFC to fight Nate Diaz Nate Diaz is set to go back into the UFC to fight Dustin in his retirement fight.
Oh, I don't want to see that shit.
Oh, I've not heard about that.
Yeah, rumored, but it's from that unreliable Twitter account.
It's Gabby Max,
who is unreliable as fuck, by the way. So
Gabby
take
Max.
it with a pinch of salt. Whether or not
It's Gabby Max, by the way. It's Gabby Max, by the way.
Let's be honest, like, who gives a shit about Dylan Danis KSI?
No, I don't.
Who gives a shit? The only fight we want to see is Jake Paul versus KSI. That is it.
I'll be real. Do we even want to see that fight anymore?
That is it. Probably not, because you've missed the boat. But you know what was hilarious? Fucking Jake Paul crying and bitching and moaning that Turkey Ali Sheikh took Canelo. Literally took Canelo underneath him, which is fucking hilarious.
Well, here's the thing. Jake can't really moan at that because Canelo's a proper boxer who follows the rule. Well, he's followed the rules for most of his career, and Jake's last fight with Mike Tyson wasn't even drug tested.
Like, Jake wants payday. He wants payday.
Canelo would have done unspeakable things to Jake Paul in the boxing ring.
I don't think that fight was ever planned to happen. It was just PR.
No, he just leaked the contract. He leaked the contract that they signed.
Yeah, it's just PR,
so that fight was going to happen. That's why the Crawford fight was about. And then His Excellency just put Canelo. Just there's the blank check. You just put how many zeros do you want? We'll get you out the clown show. Now Jake Paul's crying like a little bitch because he is a bitch. So we don't care about Dylan Danis. Mate, Dylan Danis can't throw a punch. Can't throw a punch whatsoever. His fight with Logan Paul was an embarrassment.
Yeah, it was. I'll be honest. I've never been the biggest fan of Misfits. I think we're seeing the end of Misfits now, in its original form in terms of getting big crossover names and big crossover fights. If Danis is the biggest name you can pull now, then
It's
it's
the female fights that Misfits are popular for now.
yeah, because they're better.
It's the female fights. Yeah, it's the female fights. They're the only thing that sell now. You know, they get OF models and all that, and there's some reasonably good female fighters. I mean, Elle Brook for some reason is actually quite good at it. So you know, like they're more popular. Is what people want to see, and the majority, 90% of the majority of fans are male between a certain age.
Yeah,
that's what they want to see, and that's what they're drawing to now. Even what's the big boxing YouTube channel?
IFL TV.
Yeah, even they cover it all now. The girls on Misfits, they cover it all because it's what they know. They know it's what people want to tune in and see. So, yeah, I think the likes of KSI and that. I mean, KSI is never going to lose out because he owns part of that company. So, you know, he's still going to make money even if he don't fight on it. So, they're not silly. They're not silly.
Very true, very true. But yes, people, we are going to wrap up there. Another episode of Combat Catch Up in the books. Jay, have you got anything coming up in the near future you want to promote?
Not a thing.
Luke, what about yourself, bro?
Probably not at the moment. I'm early shifts this week, so hopefully I should probably have a video out late this week. Won't have anything out on Friday. It's Friday, Valentine's Day, so won't have anything out Friday. I might have something out Thursday, but what that is, I'm not 100% sure.
Jay, don't say anything.
What are we here?
What Valentine's Day? Yeah, I'm gonna watch Captain America. So
on your own, hopefully.
No, with the missus.
Jesus Christ!
We've been together 8 years. I can get away with stuff like that. This ain't no first, but
that was getting away with it. Fuck me, Jesus! Don't go on Valentine's Day. Jesus, go the day after.
It's when it's out. So yeah.
Yeah, for months. Go the day after.
Nah.
I'm trying to think. I might do a video on Big Up tomorrow on the Sanderson Show and then release it on YouTube also on Thursday maybe. And then probably do a preview for the fight night of the weekend and then go from there. Trying to secure one interview at the moment, but that's very 50-50 at the moment, so we'll see. On Big Up tomorrow today for Liverpool versus Everton. Big game there. And then, see how the rest of the week goes. But it's another one, people. It's another one. Again, shout out to Never a Foul for the raid as well. Jay, Luke, shout out to you guys as always. Without you guys, this show wouldn't be what it is. And once again, thanks for keeping me awake at the weekend, Jay. Pause. And help me get through that card, which was at least
the next event we do together will be at a good time, potentially. Because
what, 3:13?
Sorry, I thought the London one was before that.
No, I was going to say 3:13 is not that's a 3, but that is Alex Pereira, so that's worth staying up for. So we will see. But no, people, if you haven't already, smash the like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, but more importantly, hit the link in the description to Luke's channel and to Jamie's channel and go and subscribe there. If you haven't already, please go and do that. Until we see you all again, thanks for all watching and listening. Take care, everyone.